Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we're going to touch on a touchy topic. This is regards to the Karmelo Anthony murder case and the trial and the outcome of what took place. Today, we're going to discuss this, and I just wanted to thank everyone for tuning in and being rock stars and always support us from the beginning. This fatal stabbing or altercation of this gentleman, 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf, right?
Yes.
Now, from a verbal argument over team tent, during which it was rainy that day, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right? And it was a high school track meet.
In Frisco, Texas, I believe.
Huh?
Frisco, Texas.
Okay. So these two teenagers attended different high school, and they did not know each other at all, right? Prior to the incident at the stadium in Frisco, Texas, right? That's Frisco, Texas.
Yes, sir.
Now, the sequences of events leading up to the stabbing unfolded rapidly, man. Like, it happened so fast from what everyone was testifying and people were saying. Now, Karmelo Anthony, he was seeking shelter due to the rain on April 2nd. And this happened actually in 2025. But the trial just, took place, what have you.
It was, I believe, April 2025, I believe.
Huh?
April 2025?
Yeah. Sometimes the wheel of justice take long because there's so many cases before the courts, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, go ahead. What are you saying?
No, I was just agreeing with you.
Yeah. So, it was a rainy spring day and during this track meet. And Karmelo Anthony, who was a student at Centennial High School, walked over to the team tent belonging to the rival, which is their school rival, high school. And I believe it's Memorial High. Now, where his friends and teammate, Eddie Parra, had called him over to the tent. Now, according to the defense, Anthony he said that he was called over under the tent, and because it was like a really downpour, what have you, and then Austin Metcalf objected to it. What say you, Sarah?
I mean, personally, I understand that they're opposing teammates from different schools, but
yeah.
the humanitarian thing to have done was allow your opposing team, mate to be given shelter from the rain. That would have been the human thing to do. For whatever reason, this individual denied him the ability to, access the tent and come in from out of the rain. And I guess words were exchanged, and things got a little bit heated. To whereas, upon words being exchanged, Karmelo Anthony, brandished a weapon. And as the story goes, must be Mr. Metcalf had said something to the effect of, you're not welcome in this space or whatever, and then must have went as far as to put his hand on Mr. Anthony. So Mr. Anthony, in retaliation, brandishes a weapon and says, don't put your hands on me, or, touch me again, see what's going to happen. Something to that effect.
Yeah. Well, the witnesses were saying that the team, let's go back just a little bit. He was invited over, right?
Right.
But he was asked to leave. And he didn't leave because he was invited over by a friend, right? It's alleged that the other teammates of the rival team were surrounding him. And that's when the altercation also took place because he, I guess, felt like threatened by this man, this young man putting his hand on him and being like corralled in one little area with opposing team. So he basically was, I guess, defending himself. But in a kind of sense, why defend yourself with a weapon? in a high,
I mean,
high
there are
school.
several individuals who you're outnumbered. You may feel that the odds are stacked against you. So in the event you brandish a weapon, the odds are kind of a little bit more in your favor, and it may go as far as to.
He doing with a weapon in the school?
I'm sorry?
What is he doing with a weapon in the school?
I mean, having a switchblade, in your backpack, I doubt he took it or had it there for purposes of, malicious intent. It could have just been one of those things where he had a switchblade.
But all due respect, you're not supposed to have any weapons, period, in school, right?
Okay. Well, in regards to that,
And
that could be kind of sketchy, Because how many times?
Where were the adults? Where was the coach and the teachers and so forth? So all of this, should have been taken into perspective per se. Number one, he should have a weapon. What would cause him to lash out so violently with a weapon? Is it a learned behavior? Is this what he sees in his community? Why didn't Mr. Metcalf pull out a weapon to use it against him? And why?
Maybe he didn't have a weapon to use in retaliation. There are so many questions that come into play. Why did Mr. Metcalf tell him he can't come into the tent from out of the ring?
Yes.
Like I said, the humanitarian thing to do would have been, yeah, okay, cool. We know you're on the opposing team, but we don't want you to get wet. Come on. It's just sports,
Yeah. So, in terms of the people that were there, or the other students and other individuals that was watching, right? They said that Karmelo Anthony didn't lash out until he put his hand on him, right? And like you said, it's possibly that it was an act of self-defense, but how far do you go to defend yourself in terms of being on school grounds and you're not supposed to have the weapon, and then you go as far as killing someone? Like capital murder or murder in the first degree, and and so forth. It's like top of the line. You kill a person, they're never coming back.
Personally, I don't think Karmelo meant to end Mr. Metcalf's life. I don't think that was the intent, first of all, from a personal perspective.
But you pull out a knife and stab him. You know the consequences. If I pull a knife to stab someone at that age, right, I know the consequences. Either the person is going to live or die, right, or they're going to be severely injured. And you listen. I'm not hugging up bad behavior. Period.
Okay.
Right. He should not have stabbed the dude. Period. You understand? I'm not gonna hug it up. I'm not gonna spray. Listen, if you spray perfume on shit, it's gonna betray you. It's still gonna smell like shit in the end.
Most definitely.
What I'm saying? He should not have used that knife. He could have had a fist fight or whatever it is, and then let his other teammates jump in like we see other fights or whatever on in football, basketball, or other stuff. But for him to pull out a knife.
Now, were his teammates even around to give that type of support in the event it turned into a fisticuffs?
Well, I believe so. I believe they were around. I don't know if they was in the same exact vicinity as him at that moment, but I guess he was in either the fight or flight stage. But
when the adrenaline's going and you're feeling pumped up and you're in fear of your self-preservation, the mind tends to react in a fight or flee type of mode. He chose to not flee but fight, so therefore he brandishes a weapon. Not only does he brandish the weapon, he strikes with said weapon. You understand what I'm saying? Basically, causing this young man's death.
Yes.
Now, whether that was his intent, personally, I don't feel so. Do we all know? No. But the fact still remains that Mr. Metcalf, succumbed to his injuries, and condolences to him and his family, because, losing a loved one due to this type of violence or any kind of violence is hard,
Yeah.
So I must say that. But at the end of the day, this case has really, the verdict has really, had people in an uproar on both sides.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So we could talk about, oh, he could have done this, he should have done that, he shouldn't have had a knife, he should have had a fist fight. I mean, all those things are neither here or there at this point. At the end of the day, someone lost their life tragically based on the course of events that took place.
Yes.
So at this point right now, we have to study and really look at, was the punishment that was metered out, was it justified?
Of 35, so he got 35 years, right?
Right.
For killing him. Now,
Okay.
they have said that other white kids has killed someone in that similar circumstances, only got 10 years.
Okay.
White young man or what have you. I don't know the case or whatever it is, but we all know that when it comes to sentencing, Black Americans are treated a little bit more harshly when it comes to sentencing. They tend to get a harsher sentence, longer years or what have you. But in a kind of sense, it's like, he's a young man, right?
Right.
Was he told by his parents? Was he mentored by someone to say, hey, the things that others could get away with, you can't get away with if you get into this situation? You understand what I'm trying to say to you?
Yeah, I mean, who knows,
Yeah.
At the same time, we could look at, Austin Metcalf.
Yeah.
His father has come out and expressed some types of elevated conscious views that don't seem to be aligned with racial equality, for lack of a better word. You know what I'm saying? And could he have taught his son to basically exercise a bit more human decency when interacting with people of other races?
Yes, he could have. If that's the case, yes. It works both ways, man. Listen, I'm a type of person that is reasonable. You get what I'm saying?
I mean, at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, human decency is human decency. Whether you're black, white, Asian, Hispanic, whatever your, the color of your skin is, either you're a decent human being or you're not.
Yes.
So it would be safe to say that Mr. Metcalf did not approach it from a humanitarian perspective in terms of caring for your fellow human being. Because if that was the case, had he maybe been like, you know what, you're more than welcome to stay under our tent. No problem. Come and get shelter. You understand what I'm saying? But, we're way past that.
But it appears that from what you're saying, you're a little top, from what I'm listening, a little top heavy on blaming the victim.
Not at all.
Okay.
I'm just saying, from you said, could Mr. Anthony have been taught to, approach the situation one way? I'm just saying, at the opposite spectrum side, Mr. Metcalf could have also been taught from his parents to approach it a different way, So it's equally yoked,
Yes. Yes.
I'm not saying one was right, one was wrong, or, ultimately a loss of life has occurred, and that's a very sad situation. There's no coming back from that.
No.
The Metcalf family right now is grieving, and they will never see or speak to their loved one again, and they're angry, they're upset. There's a wide range of emotion they're going through, and that's totally understandable. You know what I'm saying? So, when you say top heavy, as far as my speaking on the victim here, I just feel like at the end of the day, as human beings, we need to just show each other more grace and latitude across the board. That's how I feel personally.
Yeah. So Karmelo would not be eligible for parole until about 17 and a half years.
Yep, that's half the time.
Yeah, in other words. But a prominent civil rights lawyer, what have you, has taken up his case pro bono, and they filed an appeal. Actually, they filed an appeal within 24 hours of the sentencing.
I mean,
so hopefully, something will come from that.
The defense is claiming racial bias because there were no black jurors on the jury.
Oh, 12 white jurors, right?
Yes, sir.
But who do you blame?
I mean,
what is his attorney doing? So you mean to tell me that there's no black people there? They weren't able to get any black in the black community to volunteer or even come down to be picked? I mean, is where he lived in Texas overwhelmingly white?
I'm not sure of the racial makeup of Frisco, Texas, but I know that when they're sequestering jurors or juries, don't they ask questions and try to get a pool of individuals who are of and from the community?
Yes.
So that would lead me to believe that if they're from the community, that there aren't too many residents of black persuasion or minority persuasion that could have represented that, on his behalf to kind of even out the whole racial bias situation.
So in other words, you think that that could have played a part?
Most definitely. Most definitely.
With regards to Karmelo Anthony's plight?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
I mean,
so let me just see. I'm Googling right now, Frisco, Texas racial demographics.
Okay.
And see what it says. So it says here, Frisco, Texas has an estimated population of 219,000 residents, reflecting a vibrant and majority minority demographic profile. The racial and ethnic breakdown is predominantly white, 45.5%, Asians, 33.6%, with a growing black population. Okay, so in other words, the black population is 10%, Asian population is 33.6%, and the white population is 45.5%. Now, you mean to tell me that his defense attorney, weren't able to use these metrics, right, to even get at least one black juror or Asian juror or Hispanic? Hispanic is 10.4%, right? Come on, man.
I mean, I'm not really familiar with how they pick and select juries.
These attorneys should have raised hell, because I've seen other attorneys raise hell. They raise hell. This is not going to be fair. I'm requesting for the case to be tried in another jurisdiction, Stero.
I mean,
there was no uproar on that.
Maybe his attorneys did not have the mental tenacity to approach it from that perspective. You never know, Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure who these attorneys are who are defending him, but personally, that would have been a good strategic type of a play in
Yes.
terms of working for your client to even the odds, you know.
Yeah. So
But
I'm looking up right now whether or not Karmelo Anthony had a public defender or retained a defense attorney. So he was represented by a privately retained defense attorney.
okay,
So it's not like he had a court-appointed attorney that a lot of them don't give a shit. We've seen that throughout the whole minority and black community for many years.
very true.
You know, the court-appointed attorneys don't care. They have so many cases that they don't have no time to be analyzing your situation, your case, whatever it is, and forming a defense plan and how to go ahead and proceed on with trial. They tell you cop a plea, do community service, do cop a plea to a lesser felony or whatever it is, and that goes with you for the rest of your life, right? As opposed to a private attorney. Private attorney is going to do his damnedest to make sure either you get off or get some good results, or you don't get the death penalty. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
But knowing with those statistics that it's all white jury, unless that shit was stacked up against them, unless it was hanky-panky going on.
I mean, you never know, you know?
Huh?
You never know.
The attorney should have protested, because I've seen where, and on top of it too, is in Texas. You know, them Texas boys already.
I mean, Texas comes along with the whole good old boy network. Shout out to Texas, all the viewers and subscribers that are down there, you know? But this has been very interesting as far as, seeing the racial disparity and where people stand. So his father, Mr. Metcalf's father, has come out and been most vociferous in his outcry as far as, Mr. Metcalf and his views on the individual, and, has gone as far as to label himself, what did he say? He was a racist towards assholes. Yeah, that's what he said. So I was like, wow, okay. That's very, very interesting.
So, we hear Mr. Metcalf's father being very vocal. I haven't heard Mr. Anthony's mother speak.
I haven't heard either of his parents speak out.
Yeah, I've not heard them speak.
Now, do you think they were advised by legal counsel to remain silent?
Yeah, they were. But even post trial, I haven't heard them say anything. I might have mistaken. Might have missed any interviews or any responses from them or what have you. Maybe they were told by the appeal attorney not to say anything and not to make any public statements. I don't know, but Mr. Metcalf, he's a twin, by the way.
Yes.
So he's a twin. So it's alleged that Mr. Metcalf told Mr. Anthony that when he told him, touch me and you see what happened again. And he told him, listen, I'm not going to fight you at a track meet.
That's what Mr. Metcalf allegedly said.
People are saying that the judge withheld a video that showed Mr. Metcalf teammates or whatever coming over into the tent and like surrounding Mr. Anthony, which they never showed to the jurors or whatever, or didn't incorporate within the trial. So I don't know what will happen. Will they factor that in the appeal and to say, hey, all the evidence was not brought forth? But why wasn't that entered into evidence? Why didn't the attorney? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These are a lot of things that's left to remain to be, to be fleshed out. And when the appeals board, review this. It's a possibility that they might overturn it and request for a new trial based on from information that I'm seeing now.
It's a possibility, but I mean, when it comes to court cases and trials, I mean, it can go either way. And this is a very high-profile case, nationwide, and with racial bias being involved, it's very, very touchy, So they have to approach it with kid gloves. You know what I mean? I mean, for Mr. Metcalf to come out on the record and call Karmelo Anthony a watermelon felon, I believe.
Yes.
He's
racist.
That's just like, bruh.
And I know he's angry and all that stuff, but he's also stirring up racial hostility, racial resentment. Because I see it on I manage several Facebook and groups and stuff like that, and I've seen where a lot of people of whiter hue, making these comments and stuff like that, and talking about black folks are inherently violent. In addition, that we are not policed at home. We're not groomed at home. Our fathers are not there. Black men abandoned their family. So a lot of black boys running amok all over the street without no direction and so forth. So I see all the vitriol or whatever, and we could always say that, there's a lot of white kids with fathers around, but they pick up guns and go into school to shoot up and kill 20, 30, 40, 50 people, right?
Exactly.
So it's in a kind of sense, stop the hate. You get what I'm saying? Stop it.
I mean, it just shows you where we are as a people present day in 2026. I was having a conversation with my wife, and I asked her, I said, do you think the world is more racist now than previous times? And she was like, no, it's the same, if not worse. It's just that now there's more documentation of it. Everyone has a mobile device, they're filming, they're capturing video imagery. And with the advent of social media, these things get passed around like, candy. Everybody has it.
Yeah.
So it really goes to tell the tale that, you really have to be conscientious of what you're doing, where you're doing it, who you're doing it with, because, there's always somebody watching. There's always somebody out there with the intent on capturing your image to, make you look bad, or, put out there on social media to create a narrative. And it's very, very interesting. I mean, I just sometimes sit back and be like, shake my head, man. Because, like I said, if the world had more compassion and latitude towards its fellow human being, we probably wouldn't even be having this conversation right now, but real talk. But the fact is, in 2026, this is where we are present day. So where do we go from here?
Well, I think that in terms of raising our children, socializing them, they're basically saying that he possibly learn how to lash out at people or react that way based on, it's like a bell curve. It's how the community he lives in. Again, he's a product of his community. How they react to stress, how they react to being approached in a certain way, and if the so-called black community could change how they socialize their children and how they socialize themselves, they will be less and less prone to act violent.
Most definitely.
In America.
But at the same time, the personal views of
Mm-hmm.
Austin Metcalf's community, they had the influence on his decision. You
Correct.
know what I'm saying? So it
Yes.
goes. It's a double-edged sword. What's good for
Yes.
the goose is good for the gander, and
Yes.
there's room for improvement. I would say on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
As people, when it comes to we don't see things as they are, we see things as we are.
Yes.
Ultimately, you understand what I'm saying? So
Yes.
at the end of the day, when all is said and done, it's like, a young man has lost his freedom
Mm-hmm.
and a young man has lost his life.
Correct.
That's all bad either which way you look at it. There were no winners there.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? So,
And then what lessons could be learned from this, not only from Austin Metcalf peers in his community, white community, and also Mr. Anthony community, the black community, in terms of how to react to certain situation like this, and vice versa. Mr. Metcalf community, young man in the community that likes certain views or what have you, is not acceptable.
I mean, I feel if Mr. Metcalf would have responded differently,
mm-hmm.
in turn, Mr. Anthony may have responded differently. Because don't forget, in any situation, you can respond or react.
Yes. But he could have walked away though, right?
Most definitely.
He could have walked away.
Responding as an adult. The pulling out the knife, that's reactionary behavior.
But I've been in a situation before as a young 14 and 15 and 16. And
we all have, my brother.
Huh?
We've all been in them situations. You know what I'm saying?
But for me to say, I'm just going to pull out a knife and just plunge a knife in a person's heart and sever the muscle in his heart, I think twice. Like, yo, unless I'm being I'm being attacked, and then I have no choice but to defend is either fight or flight or saving my life. But yeah, getting pushed or whatever it is, and then boom, stab.
I mean, okay, you have some that will argue, if you slap me and I pull a gun and shoot you, you can't say, oh, why did you pull a gun and shoot me? What did you slap me for? You can't, determine how I'm going to respond to your aggression.
You can't determine how you respond to your aggression, but there will be consequences. There will be blood, right? And there will be consequences how you act. And that's the reason why we have court of laws and we have laws in America. Because we create laws, because if there's no laws, it will be an uncivil society.
Most definitely.
People will be running amok like that shit, Genghis Khan and all that, conquering, and you get what I'm saying? Not even nation could conquer other nations like that anymore, because you have laws that's set in place in United Nations and so forth. You got the criminal court and tribunal and all that stuff. So it's basically, going back to even our civil life here. There's laws and consequences that everything that you do in general, right?
I mean, ideally, if you slap me and I kick you in response, that's a reasonable retort.
Yes.
But in the world we live in, with these crazies out here, bro, you slap someone, you get stabbed, you get cut, you get shot, you get a brick in your face. I mean, there's no telling how people are going to respond to aggression.
But how come? But all right, guys. So stick a pin on that. And again, this is how the Americans, people in America, has been socialized, right? You have states like Texas and Florida, stand your ground state.
Mm-hmm.
If I feel like my life is threatened, and I tell you to step back, and you don't, you have a right to pull your arms, and shoot someone if you feel like your life is being threatened.
Yeah.
You're not retreating, right?
Yeah.
So it's that mentality you have, because you have other foreign countries that they don't have the amount of violence America has. They have ways how to quell the disputes and stuff like that. America is like, yo, straight up, you touch me, come near me, I'm gonna kill you.
I mean, that's just the culture.
And that's the reason why the court system is bottlenecked, and how the prison system is like stacked full of people serving many years, and it's like an in and out. There's no treatment, there's no therapy or what have you. You know,
So how do we collectively unlearn that type of behavior? Or is it so ingrained in us that we're unable to unlearn it?
It takes socializing, the machismoism, right?
Because some of these young kids nowadays, bro, they're not taking no chat from anybody, bro.
Well, the ones that are already lost, right? They got places for them, prison, right? But the younger generation, they have to start in school and at home. And if the parents are not teaching them, it got to be learned that also at home. You understand? In school. You understand? How to diffuse arguments and certain shit. They don't teach you that shit in school. I didn't learn it in school. Did you learn that in school? Nah, I didn't. Other countries teach you that. They teach you about home economics. They teach you about budgeting and all that stuff. Right?
I mean, the fact is, we need some type of collective understanding, so that this type of thing doesn't happen in future. And lives are not lost and to either prison or death. Because, you know, what's the age of these individuals?
Like 17 and stuff like that.
Babies, bro.
Yes.
And here we are, big grown men, you know what I mean, talking about this. And it's just, you know,
yes,
it's very sad, man.
Yeah.
But stay tuned to Chief and Stereo. We'll definitely keep you abreast of the future goings on of this particular case. Continue to like, subscribe, and share. We love the support. We love you guys. And until next time, peace.
Peace out, man.